Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back to the show. We are live here today, joined by Dr. Maureen Hosier from Los Angeles, California. She's a clinical psychologist and so much more. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much. So, Maureen, please introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers today.
Whoa, I hadn't thought I would have to do that. I am a psychologist. I began being a psychologist at the age of 38, and that came out of my awareness, my understanding that I didn't know what growing meant. Does that resonate? I had no idea what the word growing meant, which had meant to me then, once I found out more about it, was that I wasn't emotionally growing. I wasn't understanding me. I wasn't understanding what was happening in the world. I was playing up until that time, until 38. Yeah. And then decided to find out more about what was going on for me and others. Well, relationships were important to me because I've always wanted to understand dynamics, relationship dynamics. I thought they were important, and because many of mine didn't work as a kid, then I was very interested in how to help people in relationship.
Well, can I ask you a little bit more about your background? What brought you there at the age of 38? What were you doing beforehand? What field were you in?
I was a teacher, and I was a physical education teacher, and I hated it, and the kids hated it. We both did not care, and so I needed to get out of there and do something that was important to me. And to others, if they were interested.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to point out off the top for those out there want to tune in, go to the website, and it's Maureen. Let me spell it right. MAUREEN. EHOSIERPHD.com. You can find out more about her there. And do you have a contact number that you want to give out, or email address as well?
Phone number is 310-210-6772. Okay. And the email address is my name, Maureen, MAURRREEEN @yahoo.com.
Perfect. Now, I know you focus on relationships. That really is your expertise, right? Relationships that you say are not working. I think everyone out there today, including myself, could use your help and benefit from the type of work you do. Where did you want to start? Because, relationships, it's a huge field. How does it work? People come to you with what sort of relationship problems?
Well, they all come to me with the same relationship problem. The words and the situations are different.
Okay.
And how they're experiencing their difficulty, that's different between them. What happens is, what I have come to understand over my time in this field is that, well, the title of the show is, What If Relationships Aren't About Happiness? Most of us think that's it. We're going to be happy. And then we are for a while, and then we're not. And then we repeat what we are doing to try to make us happy. And we argue and fight. I wanted to just put everything into simple words and have it make sense. So understanding that, I needed to find out how to make a relationship work, what needed to happen. And then I go back to growing emotionally. I'm going to say this, most people maybe won't believe it, but maybe they will. I think humans are emotionally young. They're immature. We're immature.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense that we are. It's not a bad thing. It's our parents were emotionally immature and their parents were emotionally immature. So we really haven't gotten the idea yet enough for people to know that not only are they physically growing in their skills and in their development, but we have the opportunity to emotionally grow as well. Now, if we understood that, I think, then maybe we'd begin to look at things differently and how do people emotionally grow. And emotional growth for me is moving away from the childhood playground, which many adults are still in,
Mm-hmm.
and wondering how we make relationships work, especially because we need to have a relationship with our planet.
Okay.
And for me, relationships are the bedrock of our survival as humans. So if we don't know how to make relationships work, I think we're in trouble. And right now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I know how to better make relationships work. I work on that every day in my mind every day. And what I understand is that humans want to argue and fight about stuff, and they want to be taken care of, because I think we weren't taken care of early on in our childhood. We weren't known, we weren't received, we weren't valued, we weren't understood, we weren't appreciated and cherished and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Many of us. And many of us were over enjoyed and used. But, and I'm not blaming my parents at all,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't know what they didn't know. And most of us don't, we don't know what we don't know. But I think there is a consciousness happening in the world today about a lot of things, hopefully, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
absolutely.
And I think consciousness comes out of understanding this idea about emotional growth, emotional immaturity and maturity. Am I making sense?
Oh, absolutely. You are. My goodness. You got me thinking, and I'm sure thousands of other people who are listening the same. We are immature emotional beings. We are. We are. I'm 44. I'll be honest. I've never been married. My relationships last for maybe 2, 3, 4 years at a time. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom, but I've never was able to, really make it in the relationship department. And I look back at my childhood. My parents had a horrible marriage. So I have trust issues. I'm scared. I have trauma from that. And it has affected me. And I feel like I'm healed from it, but I'm totally okay being single. And I just find in most relationships, just in my own personal circumstances, that 2 people kind of grow apart always. They don't grow together and they don't allow each other to grow and be individuals. So I've always had a hard time with relationships. And I know so many of us do. Do you find that a lot of people say, hey, we've grown apart and, the person I fell in love with has now changed, but we both changed. So it should be okay. But it's
well, that yours is an interesting story that way. back up a step. Did you try to make the relationship work?
Well, I've
Your
never been married. I've always tried to
Okay.
I've always wanted to be married and wanted commitment and wanted all that. And it seems I was always picking partners that weren't on that same page. In the beginning, they wanted that, and then it changed. So they got to know me and decided maybe I'm not the one, which is fine, but was always promised and hoped that it would work. I kind of go for the same type of non-committal guy every time. Why? Why?
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so right in this moment, if you will just relax, I'm going to ask the question back to you, but I don't want you to think about it. I would like you to drop down into your chest back area, inside yourself. The question, and it's the same question all the time, whenever we're emotionally reacting, what's going on for me that I choose non-committal men? Now, don't think. If your eyes are going up here like this, I can see you thinking. So drop down and let's just wait.
I'm
Let's wait a
scared.
couple minutes.
I think it's because I'm
Okay.
scared because I saw how
Okay, wait, you just said, I think it's about I'm scared. I
No,
want you
I'm
to.
scared. I know I'm scared. No, I think,
Okay, so talk from that position. I'm
okay,
scared about.
getting hurt, following in my mother's footsteps in a sense, where my father hurt her in so many ways. Yeah, I am scared.
So what you just told me, and this is flat out what you said, I'm still scared.
Yes.
So you've had developmental trauma. It's like PTSD. In fact, it's considered a PTSD. Some call it complex PTSD, which means that you had experiences over and over and over and over and over and over again as a child. So that your experiences, nobody's talking to you.
No, I'm starting to tear up. You got it.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still wounded.
Yes. Absolutely.
And yes, you found a way to make things work for yourself now, and you're comfortable, a lot of it seems,
Yes.
in being single and in enjoying your life that way. And with help emotionally, you might change your mind on that and want to be in a caring relationship.
I do.
And,
I
and
want it. I just don't know how to get it. I don't know how to change me to make things better, because what I put off obviously is that fear, and I receive what I put out. Are you also an empath, doctor, by any chance? You
I
seem like you
I
got me. I could see it in your eyes and your thoughts and but are you also an empath? I mean, have you been told this? Are you an intuitive?
I don't, it isn't that I've been told it. I feel
Feel it.
for.
Yeah. So you are. Okay.
So, but I don't use the word at all. I just do what I do. I try to feel what you're saying to me
Mm-hmm.
and be helpful there, because that's how you're known and received and valued.
Yeah.
And that's what our parents didn't know how to do, because they didn't have the experience either. So we're just learning about this. And the complex PTSD, as in your experiences, is you completely turned away from relationships. I have both sisters who did the same thing. Completely turned away because it was just too painful.
Yeah, that's me. Not to make this about me at all. If you're just tuning in, Dr. Maureen Hosier here. She's a clinical psychologist and she's from Los Angeles, California. And just want to ask, do you work with clients out of state or is it just in the state of California?
I'm licensed just to work with people in California.
Perfect. And there's so much more to talk about today. You're an author. Where did you want to go next? I mean, I appreciate your help with me, but it's about you. Well, let's talk about you.
It's really, I understand what you're saying, but it really is about you, because you are like everybody out there.
Okay.
So many people really don't know how to make a relationship work. A relationship has to work for two people. And we need our closeness and we need our separation and distance. And that's a complex thing for people to do in relationship. And the way that I understand it can happen is through caring. The development of caring about someone else or who they are. And I'm cared about then for who I am. But that's a very complex thing for humans to do when we start out as children emotionally, and everything's about me. I need everything to be about me. And have my parents my parents caring about me. Now, my parents were very busy people, and they had been taught themselves to care about themselves through the relationship with their parents.
Yep.
So my parents, couldn't be there for the three of us, the three girls. And it was so felt by all of us. We just didn't know me. And my sisters didn't know themselves. Although we've all been very successful in the world, emotionally then is where the difficulties have been. Like you, successful person, you can do what you need to do. You've made your way up, and yet this other piece of you is missing.
Yeah, exactly.
And your understanding at this moment, yes, I'm still scared, is really a place to start. Because you don't have to be scared.
Yeah.
But the little kid inside of you, that's who's inside of you emotionally, is your little kid. The little girl is still there. So emotionally, I think people hopefully can begin to realize we have to emotionally grow more wise, more caring, and more kind as humans. Otherwise, I'm going to say this is my opinion. We're a done deal. Because we don't have a partnership with others and with our planet. We have to be in partnership.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. I want to be in partnership. I mean, trust me, I'm happy. I have a 7 and 5-year-old little boy, and I finally am complete in a sense where I always wanted a family, and I have that part. But I still feel there's a missing link of, I believe in teamwork makes the dream work. And I know a lot of my friends who are married and they're envious of me. They're like, I'm miserable. I'm not happy. I'm like, but I'm exhausted being me. I would like to have someone to fall back on to do fun stuff with. And I have a boyfriend now, but still, like, I want the full package of that. I feel like it's one thing that I'm missing that I would like, but so I have faith still, but I still have some issues getting there. But I always say this: when my mom was alive, she's passed now 5 years. I said, Mom, but overall, I could die tomorrow. I'm happy. I finally did it. I have kids. I'm okay. I've traveled. I had a good job. I'm happy. I really am happy. So if it wasn't in my cards, maybe it's not in the cards.
Well, no, I think something different here. And that is that you are probably ready to have a relationship because you are able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And in a relationship, we have to be able to get along. People don't know how to get along, but we have to know how to do that. But you first, not necessarily first, it can be done at the same time, can know how to get along with yourself.
Okay.
So as long as you can be your authentic self in the relationship, note when you have emotional reactions, and the question is, what's going on for me that I'm emotionally reacting? Not be in emotional reacting.
Got it.
Because people emotionally react and it just goes nowhere. And then they're emotionally disconnected. And then they take some time to get back together, and they get back together back in the same place, emotional place, and then it happens again. So we have to grow emotionally. And so we have to know how to do that. And the first thing is we have to get a hold of our emotional reactions. Emotional reactions will destroy your relationship.
Wow.
Period. We have to get a hold of those. And we have to want to reconnect. So my partner and I, what we did, and I don't know how it happened, but I would go to my corner. She would go to her corner, her bedroom, my bedroom. We would wait. One of us would come back to the other and say, I will listen. And when we listened, I listened, she listened, whoever went first, I will listen. Then we could begin to have the empathy of where each other was emotionally, because we were listening.
Yeah.
And now we knew each other better. And we knew where there was a sore spot, a sensitive place. And we could be careful of that. And we handled caring then about each other with our words. This is a really huge synopsis, but it's our words when we're in a partnership, and it has to be a partnership in our minds. There's an us.
Yeah.
In my mind, there's also an I. So when we speak to each other, we respect the relationship. At the same time, we talk about what's going on for us or what we need or what we want. And it can work.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
I like that. I like the fact that you need to learn how to listen, right? Because sometimes I don't listen. I got to learn better skills and patience with that. You're right. You need to listen. And I would love to have
All right.
somebody.
And there's one way to do that. I'm going to interrupt and I'm
Sure.
sorry.
It's okay.
Is we don't blame the other.
Okay.
No blaming. That's a normal child developmental place of blaming someone else. Because everything's about the kid. That's normal development, normal emotional development. For adults, we cannot blame. We can only talk about what's going on for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the question is, your question, my question to you was, what's going on for me? So you'd come back and say to me, you know, what I understood about myself is I'm scared to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm reacting in the way I'm reacting. And I'm sorry. That's a very different conversation. A very connecting moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying what's going on for him. As soon as humans start blaming, again, it's a done deal. And then we repeat the blaming over and over and over to the point of physical abuse, leaving, running away, shutting down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all the kinds of things that humans do. And we're stuck there.
Yeah.
So we must be able to talk about ourselves and not about the other. Not hard. You know, when I need you to know when you said this, then I went da da da. I try the best I can. I'm not blaming you because we did have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I did react to your words. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm going to take responsibility for my own emotional reactions. And do you know why we must do that?
Why?
Because they're about me.
Got it.
I am emotionally reacting from me, not from you. It's you are you.
Yeah.
I reacted to that. What's going on for me that I reacted to that?
Yeah. Wow. All right. Wow. Wow. We're out of time. My goodness, it's been almost 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, Maureen. Okay. Tell us how we can reach out to you. And how do you want to summarize today's show? And of course, give us all forms of contact.
I really don't want to summarize today's show.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, anything you want to leave for us before we go?
Okay. I had second thoughts about, I would talk to people from anywhere. I would, you know, I'd charge, but I'd give a session within what they can handle if I can and have the time. But I can only work with people in California. But I would like to help people. And,
Beautiful.
you know, and I know this is going more than California. So the number again is 310. I forgot my number. What did I say?
It happens. Don't
Oh,
worry.
310-220-6772.
Perfect.
I'm so excited too to be able to be with you and speak about this. I really am thankful. I so appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you too. Thank you for being here, and thank you for giving me some advice as well. I appreciate that, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. It wasn't just for me. You're right. It's a lot of us are dealing with these similar issues. So thank you again. We appreciate your
Okay,
time
let me
here.
leave
Sure.
my email address. It's
Yep.
maurreen@yahoo.com. That's my first name, 3 R's, 3 E's.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a great
Thanks,
day.
Jill.
And to everyone
All
else, the
right.
same. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.